You want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored. Okay, I'm so sick of these.
What's going on? What's going on?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Another day in paradise.
Hey, it look like paradise where you at.
A little bit. But I actually do want to talk about me getting my own place. Currently, I'm 21 years old. Resigned from New England, and right now I'm taking my CDO classes. Right now, I have done real estate for the past 2 years, so I just wanted to hear your advice on how to elevate your life. So,
How to elevate your life?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. So, 21 years old. You said you in the process of getting your own place.
Yes.
Okay, you going after your CDLs and everything. Do you have kids?
No.
Okay, see, man, you a high commodity whether or not you realize it, man. You got it made right now. You 21 years old. You you seem to be business minded, business savvy. You don't have any children, and I would imagine you don't have any F's on your report card, meaning you don't have any felonies, right?
No.
He said no. Of course not. Yeah, hey, that's beautiful, man. Like that right there is so beautiful, man, because at this point in time, you can take your life literally in any direction you want to take it in, man. Like the sky is the limit for you. You dig? So I don't know what your credit situation is like, but man, do your best to get your credit as good as you possibly can. And one thing that's gonna help you get your credit right, not just your credit right, but help you to live right, period, is to have a producer mindset. That's the best thing I could tell you. Have a producer mindset and not a consumer mindset. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, most of us as black people, the first time we get a taste of success, we want to consume. We want to buy everything. You know what I mean? And we want to buy things that are liabilities. We want to buy things that are not assets. We want to buy things that's not going to appreciate in value, right? So that's the best thing I could tell you is to have a producer mindset as far as like how you living. You know what I mean? You always want to spend more. You always want to make more than you spend it every day. Every day when you go about your day, you want to tell yourself, I want to make more money today than I'm gonna spend. You know what I mean? And in those cases where you might spend more money than you make on a particular day, you want that money to be spent towards making more money. You want that money to be spent on an asset as opposed to a liability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, have a consumer mindset as opposed to have a producer mindset as opposed to a consumer mindset. And then also, man, appreciate people above things in all things. You know what I mean? I don't know what your friendship situation is like, what your relationship situation is like, what your family situation is like, but see, you young right now, so you're gonna go through situations where you feel like people do you wrong, right? Don't allow that to get you to a point where you had a mindset you can't trust nobody. That's another big problem in the black community that we have. You know, when our trust gets violated, we just get this mindset like don't trust nobody. But that's what holds us back. And it's not that people are not trustworthy. It's just that the majority of us don't want to be responsible enough to learn how to trust people. That's what it is. You know, anytime you hear somebody say, I don't trust nobody, don't trust nobody, what they're really telling you is that they don't want to be responsible enough to trust people because it's a responsibility and it takes a lot to trust people wisely. You know what I mean? And when
Yeah.
you learn how to trust the right people, then you can invest in people just like those people trust you and invest in you, right? You know, it's funny because, like you said, you involved in real estate, right?
Right.
So you know that when somebody is gonna buy a house, you probably got all different types of clientele, but you probably have some clients that when they want to buy a house, they want to know everything about the house. They want to know what kind of problems the house done had. If it's an older house, they want to know what kind of problems and it might be a nice older house, but they want to know if it's ever had a termite problem. You know what I mean? They want to know how the plumbing is. You know, it's so many things that they want to know about that house, right? Um, so they're gonna do their research and they're gonna find out as much as they can about that house so that they trust that they're making a wise investment in that house, right?
Right.
And people do the same thing with cars. They do the same thing with computers and all different other kinds of things that you can buy, right? But people don't want to do that with people, right? And see, like if you buy a house, right, and then after you buy the house, you realize that there's some things wrong with the house that you didn't understand at the time because you didn't do your research. And you might say to yourself, you know what? I ain't gonna never do this again. The next house that I buy, I'm gonna do my research and I'm gonna understand as much as I can about buying a house before I buy another house, right?
Right.
That's what we're supposed to do with people too. You know what I mean? If you trust somebody and somebody violates your trust, you're going to say, you know what, moving forward, before I trust somebody to this degree again, I'm going to make sure that that person is trustworthy. I'm going to position that person to earn my trust step by step. Okay, they earn this much trust, that's one step. They earn this much trust, that's another step. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
how you get responsible with trusting people. Because, see, when you don't trust people, it's heavy, it weighs you down. You know what I mean? It's like imagine somebody being on the run. You know, they got a federal warrant. They want it for murder, and they on the run, right?
Yeah.
They can't trust nobody, so that's heavy. A life with no trust is heavy. It's gonna weigh you down.
Mm.
You know, I got a good friend of mine. He ended up doing a lot of years in in federal prison, but he got a book this out, and he was on the run from the feds for like 12 years, right? And he was doing real good at staying free. But he said eventually he got to the point where he was just tired
Mm.
because he was by himself all the time. He didn't trust nobody. So eventually he kind of just like, not necessarily gave up, but he was kind of being careless. He wasn't as concerned about being free no more and running from the charge.
Yeah.
So you know, he eventually kind of like allowed them to catch him. You know what I mean? Because the burden of not trusting nobody around him was so heavy,
Right.
right? As opposed to when you can trust people, right? As opposed to it being heavy, now you lighter on your feet, and now you're able to move faster and swifter because you trust the right people. But you made sure that you did what was necessary to see that that person or those people were trustworthy,
Right. And
right?
that's
So,
where
so
that responsibility comes in, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's some of the best things I could tell you, man. Like I said, do your best to have a producer mindset in everything that you do pertaining to business, as opposed to a consumer mindset. And then also be as responsible as you can, trusting people. Like I said, you only 21, so you're gonna go through some situations where people violate your trust. You know what I mean? And you have misunderstandings with people, but do your best to look at those experiences as lessons. Because if you look at it as a lesson, then it's never gonna be a loss. Even if you might have a falling out with somebody and that falling out results in a monetary loss or a material loss or a comfort loss, because sometimes we be real comfortable with people, and fall out with them, and now it's a loss of comfort. But whatever the case, as long as you learn from that experience and you get better at trusting people moving forward, then it's a lesson in it. So as long as there's a lesson in whatever experience you have in life, it's never a loss. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir. I appreciate the.
for sure, man. I appreciate you for joining us, man, tapping in.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm out. So.
Blessings.
Dig this. I've been stroking relentless to get waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Baby, yeah, where you been?